Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. Today we are looking at what this person is hiding from you. Now we'll break the reading down by having a look to see who this person is, how they think and feel about you, the circumstances that you share together, what's going on between the both of you dynamically, how do you think and feel about this person, what is your history together, what's going on now in the present, most importantly, where are things going in terms of an outcome, and what is it specifically that they are hiding from you. Now, before we get started, if you're interested in becoming a subscriber to my Patreon account, you can go down below into the description there and have a look and see how to go about doing that. Otherwise, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, it'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is I do, and how you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you on the screen, we've got two different symbols to choose from, and the idea is to choose a symbol that comes through for you really strongly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one symbol that comes through strongly for you today. And remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. Now, we have symbol 1 and symbol 2. Taking a moment to be with the symbols, drawing in a nice deep breath, and as you release the breath, listening to your intuition, your inner voice, and the energy of the symbols. Which of these comes through for you the strongest today? Is it symbol 1 or symbol 2? Down below, there are two different timestamps representing each of these different symbols. If you'd like to go to the one that you've chosen, I will see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to symbol number 1. This is your reading and we're looking at what this other person is hiding from you today. So we're going to start over here in the past, moving into the present, and then we'll end up over here in terms of the outcomes. We're going to start up here with death, the 7 of Pentacles, good place to start the other person in the past. I feel like straight from the outset with this person that they have been preoccupied by other issues that they brought into the relationship with you in a way that just leaves them feeling like they're not fully present. I don't feel like this person is focusing on you like you're the center of attention or giving to what you both have in a way that is overly sharing. Very preoccupied and kind of always looking away, both within themselves, but also directly at you. I kind of feel like everything is very off-center in terms of their history, and what they've brought to the connection with you. I get a very tight-lipped person who doesn't give a lot away. I feel like this is a bit of a dark horse. I feel like this person brings an air of mystery and intrigue to the relationship. I get a very good-looking energy that kind of leaves me wanting more. This person is certainly not revealing of themselves. They're not revealing of what's going on in terms of their internal process. In some ways, it reads as playing hard to get, but on another level, I just feel like this person has a dark past, has a history that they don't want to share. It feels complex, but attractive at the same time. I don't get a person who is quick to react or overly sensitive in terms of feeling that they need to be more than they really are. I get that this person is very cautious in terms of their involvement and that they want to take things very slowly, very considered steps in terms of connecting with you, very considered in terms of what it is that they tell you, very selective about what they will and won't do. Doesn't promise anything that they can't deliver. This is somebody who is incredibly cautious, is always holding back. And when they do give you something, it feels big, you know, like it feels revealing. It feels impactful in a way where it's like, okay, I didn't see that coming. It's almost like less is more. It leaves you wanting more. I think that's the thing about it for me, is that it feels that this person is withholding, but it leaves me wanting to know more about who it is that they are. There's something strangely provocative about it, maybe a little bit addictive. I feel that this person has definitely become very slow to get involved with you, very hesitant to get involved with you in a way where they don't budge very easily. Slow to open up, slow to reveal anything. And then when they do, it just kind of feels like it hits you between the eyes in a way where you didn't see it coming. But either way, I don't feel with these two cards that this person is giving you anything that joins up the dots. There's no totality here. There's no big picture that gives you an insight into who it is that they really are, what is it they really like, how it is that they really feel about you and what's going on, or of their history. It's complex. It's cautious. It takes a lot of energy to deal with. I think that that's what I find about these two cards. I feel like this person is leaving me wanting more, but it's also leaving me thinking about who it is that they really are. Like, I'm becoming very involved in this person in a way that maybe I had never anticipated, because I'm having to do a lot of guesswork. I'm trying to figure things out in a way that reads them energetically, reads them physically, reads them behaviorally. Here with death, I kind of feel like this person definitely has a dark past. I feel like they've been through something very big before that they've actually met you. And here with the Seven of Pentacles, there's a definite sense that this person is still very much in a contemplative, deep process about something that has ended very badly before they've met you. I feel like this person has gone through some very major transition point in their world in a way where they kind of landed on you and are still processing a lot of what has gone before them. They're making preparations to move forward. They're taking small steps, but they're still very within themselves about this experience in a way where it's not over, whatever that is. Yeah. If I come down here to the Hangman and the Page of Swords, and I feel that your response to this person has been one where it's put you immediately on guard from the time that you've actually met them. I think this person absolutely triggers you in a way that makes you feel like you're on the back foot here with the Page of Swords. Constantly thinking things over, always second guessing yourself, always trying to figure this person out. And here with the Hangman, it's like, why aren't things moving forward in a natural way? Why am I so within my own experience in a way where I'm feeling psychologically overactive about this person? I kind of feel like you're always trying to figure out this person's behaviors, but you're also trying to figure out the possibilities in terms of where things are going in terms of the next step. Here with the Hangman, it's definitely indicating that things are on hold, that they don't go past a certain point. And probably more importantly, I don't feel like this person's behavior or involvement with you is kind of triggering you to feel good about yourself or good about what you're sharing with this person. I'm always trying to figure out ways of getting them to share with me, always trying to figure out ways of getting this relationship to move forward in some way that's more constructive. I feel like the more that you press into it, the more complicated it becomes. I feel like you're beginning to hold back here by about this point in the past in a way where maybe this is leaving you to feel very cautious about who this person is and whether you should actually get involved with them. Maybe that this is more trouble than it's really worth. I feel like you're in a constant or maybe perpetual state of worrying. And that maybe if you sort of try and press into this person to get answers, the Page of Swords is a card that wants answers. It's turning lots of stones. It's asking lots of questions. It's trying to figure things out. It gets triggered by the smallest things in a way that tries to join up dots. It's guesstimating all the time. But it's also getting very anxious. Like, I just kind of feel like you're in a state of anxiety, of thinking very negatively about what's going on within this connection, constantly being triggered, not being able to... I think also maybe not feeling like you can share of yourself with this person because it's not being reciprocated in a way where it's give and take. And this person's been very selective about how they engage with you, very selective about what it is that they tell you of themselves. I feel like here I'm losing my power with these two cards in a way that says I can't affect change, or I can't take hold of the moment, or I have no power for the future to get the outcomes that I want. So I feel like your experience with this person has become very twisted, very contorted in a way where it doesn't feel natural. Things aren't unfolding in a way that are just progressing at a heartfelt level or a level where you feel that there is some kind of reciprocal engagement. And I think probably most problematically with these two cards, I'm beginning to feel like maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm doing something wrong that's stopping this person from giving me something more. Yeah. So straight from the outset here with these two cards in the past, I feel like you're both in very different places. I feel like this person has brought some kind of baggage to the relationship in a way where they're overly preoccupied by it. But I think that's compounded by this person's nature. I think fundamentally this person is very withheld. That they do have a dark side that they don't want to reveal. That they are overly complicated and yeah, I think that pairs difficult in a very difficult way with you. I think that you're somebody maybe who sees the glass half empty as opposed to half full. So you're triggered to think very negatively about this person's behavior and where things are going. We'll come over here to the High Priestess and the Three of Cups, more into the present, and I feel like this person just seems very vague in terms of their involvement with you here with the High Priestess. I don't feel like this person is fully present and having any fun. When they do have a bit of a laugh, it doesn't feel genuine or connected. I feel everything's very half-hearted. Maybe a little bit vague in terms of how this person emotionally feels about you. I don't feel like this person is committing to having a good time here. I just, like it feels like it's kind of gone from feeling a bit heavy to just feeling a lot disengaged, really. Here with the Three of Cups, I feel like maybe there are other people around you. Maybe when you're out and about with this person, maybe other people are noticing that this person's just not present. Maybe a little bit disengaged, not prepared to join in a way that has fun with you and a group of other people, perhaps. This reads as being very uncommitted. This person's not jumping in and actually celebrating good times and these here with the High Priestess, this is definitely a card about the future, and I'm questioning here whether this person is committed to having future fun, making plans for dates or significant kind of celebrations in the future that actually tie the two of you together and give you a sense that there is hope, that you're both on the same page in terms of having fun, or that you're joining in and being with each other's friends or social groups or families. This person is pulling back. They're very vague about what they're prepared to commit to. I also wondered here whether this also represents for some of you the idea of this person being out with other people. Maybe when they're out with their own friends, they're actually having a good time. That they seem to be all good when you're not around, when you're not part of the picture. Maybe this person is wanting the freedom to be with other people, to have good times with their own friends in a way where it leaves you feeling like you're not part of what's going on. I get a sense here also that perhaps this person's not wanting to tell you where they've been, what they've been up to, the fun that they've been having, whether they've been out for drinks with somebody, what their plans are in terms of what they're doing with their own friends. Everything just feels very disconnected, very, very disengaged, in a way where you're not at the center of having a good time with this person, or that this person is not at the center of having a good time with you. I feel like this person has extracted themselves socially, that there is a disconnect between you and them in terms of sewing this relationship together in a more holistic way that includes other people and kind of, just has good times, really. I feel like it's very difficult to plan things with this person. And here with the High Priestess, this is definitely a card of avoiding, of being vague, of just, not putting you in the picture of what actually makes them feel good, It doesn't feel like you can do anything to patch it up or to kind of bridge over into their emotions in a way where you build on some sort of experience that just kind of makes this relationship feel more natural, right? We come down here to the Moon and the Six of Pentacles. And I feel like the way that you're responding to this in more in the present now, I think this is really affecting your mood. The fact that this person's not giving into the relationship is kind of causing a sense of depression here with the moon. I think you recognize that there is this absolute lack of balance, and that it's not fair. I think the idea of other people really kind of comes into this for me in a way where I feel like other people are seeing what's going on. Maybe there are friends or family or work colleagues who are seeing this lack of balance between the both of you, or this lack of contribution to your world in a way that upsets you. You know, maybe people who have got your back are saying that they're really worried about you. I feel like there's a recognition here that's sort of saying, I can't go on with this in a way because it's making me feel really unhappy. I'm constantly giving to this person, trying to make things good, trying to bridge over into this person's world to make it more fun, or to kind of gain a sense of confidence in terms of where we're at. I'm constantly bending to this person's behavior, but it's becoming too much now. In some ways, I feel like by about this point, it's almost like this person's been doing this for so long that it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. And, you know, like if people aren't actively contributing their perspective, you know, maybe you're actively fielding that in a way where, you know, you're asking other people what they think, how they feel about what your observations are, what your experiences are. And there's still no power here for me in these two cards. Again, you know, I don't feel like I have the power to affect change, that I feel really uncertain, that it doesn't matter what it is that I give to this situation. Things don't feel like they're actually finding their feet. And maybe even for some of you that you're actually appealing to this person at a more practical level and trying to get them to see what it's like to be in your shoes. Trying to articulate that maybe they're being just a bit too much, that they're asking too much of you. This is a very difficult connection, you know. I feel, you know, there's an enormous amount of uncertainty for you right from the get-go. I can see here with these cards that this person is definitely holding back in a way that doesn't invest into what should just be very natural in terms of making this into a happy situation. I mean, the whole idea of pairing with anybody, whether it's intimate, whether it's friendship, whether it's just to connect, is to share. And I don't feel like this person is giving you of themselves in a way that is letting you into their world. I think if I come over here to the Lovers and the Five of Wands, I feel in terms of a future outcome for you and the next steps as to where this is going, that you're really going to challenge this person about what's going on in a way that says you need to make a decision. And, you know, is this what you want here with the Five of Wands? Are you prepared to fight for this relationship? Are you prepared to make the choice to be on the right side of us? I don't feel like you're going to give up without a fight here. I feel like you get to this point and you realize that you have nothing to lose but to actually challenge this person in a way that actually stands up to them and what they're actually like. I think there's other people involved here as well. You know, maybe this is also about calling in the troops, you know, calling out the big guns, including other people's experiences, including other people's observations, maybe getting friends to say something to this person, or maybe quoting what it is that other people have said about what they see of this person in a way that validates this experience of yours. You've had so much uncertainty and felt so overstretched by this and so isolated within yourself that you're tired of feeling so negatively affected by it, that it's time to kind of validate yourself by including experiences of other people's observations, for example. I kind of feel like you and other people are coming together in unison in a way that challenges this person and kind of makes this a sort of a broader fight that's not just about you. Because you recognize by here that you need to force some kind of change, that you need to get this person to kind of wake up and have a look at what's going on. Here with the Lovers, this is a card about making decisions, and I feel like you're challenging this person to make a decision about what they're doing here. You know, if you want this relationship with me, then you need to make a decision to fight for this. So I kind of feel like you're forcing this person to make a change. You're also forcing yourself here to make a decision about whether this is what you want. Yeah. You need to show me that you want me. You need to show us that you want us. If you want me to continue to fight on. In some ways, it's about making the ultimate decision. Yeah. We come up here to the world and the 5 of Swords. I feel like this is going to be a very difficult outcome. I feel like this is one where you're confronting this person about what is it they're holding on to. I don't feel like this person is going to jump into this experience in a way that is immediately revealing, if at all. I feel like this person will feel a lot of conflict and torment about what you're forcing them to face in a way that immediately puts them back into their past, about what it is that they've actually left behind, what it is that they're actually hiding. I feel like there's a lot of anger and defensiveness going on here in a way where this person is being forced to face something that they don't want to face. I feel like this will force them to relive their past, their history. This is a history that involves other people. I feel like this thing that they're hiding is to do with an entire world that predates you. It's a full life of other people. I don't feel like this is a small thing that they're hiding. It's not like some little secret. I feel like this is a complete world that they've left behind that they have not resolved. You can see that here with the 5 of Swords. This person is still feeling a lot of torment, a lot of conflict. They haven't resolved what it is that they've left behind prior to you. It involves other people that actually made up a fulfilling world that no longer exists here in the future other than in this person's mind. I feel like this person is still very tormented by that in a way that stops them from enjoying what they have with you. It stops them from enjoying the idea of what they can have in the future, because here they have the past in the future, and the past is one of conflict and torment about the world that they had before them. So from that point of view, this person is not present. You can see that here with the High Priestess and the 3 of Cups. They're not present. They're not enjoying what it is that they have with you. They're not sharing of how it is that they really feel. They're keeping this a secret. They don't want you to be a part of what it is that they left behind. They don't want you to be a part of the healing process that actually helps them to liberate that so that they can move forward with you hand in hand on the same level. I feel like there's going to be a lot of fighting here as an outcome. I don't feel like this person is going to work constructively with what comes up, and I feel like this will be very explosive. This person's avoiding responsibility to admit what it is that they're hiding. They're also avoiding the responsibility to admit how that impacts on the world that you actually have with this person. And I feel like in many ways they're going to turn that around onto you. I kind of feel like they'll deflect and kind of point you as being the issue here in a way where they don't want to let go of what happened in the past or to resolve it. So they're kind of hanging on, you know. There's no forward future embrace of like a world that kind of lays beyond this, or even a world that lays at their feet right at this moment in terms of being more present with you. I don't feel like this person's going to want to share what it is that's happened, what it is that they've actually lost, or what is it they were forced to let go of in the past. I think that they'll actually be very angry and very protective, almost in a vigilant way, that continues to keep things private. And I think this will force you to make a choice, because you're not going to feel here with the 5 of Wands that you're at the center of this person's world, that you're not at the center of the relationship in a way that gives you what you need so that you can survive this and move into the future in a way where the both of you are on the same page. Like, historically speaking, you've been on the back foot since the day this began. This person holds power over you in a way where they're not including you. This person has a full world that they left behind. Yeah. It's not just about one single relationship. It's about the totality of something that they've had to leave behind. It's here with death. It's a total ending linked to a new beginning where everything that they had before them, it doesn't exist anymore. But at the same time, this person hasn't been able to let that go. You know, is that one single relationship? No, that's lots of different relationships. That's the fabric of a life. That's an entire world that they have left behind here. And you can see back here in the future with the world and the Five of Swords that this person is hanging on to that. They're defending that. They're vigilant not to let that go. Because they can't work through the pain, the torment of what it means to resolve that and to heal and to move forward. And they're not including you in that process. So for me, this person is a dead weight, yeah? This person is holding on to you in a way where they want the best of both worlds. They want the convenience of having you by their side, but they don't want to include you, holistically speaking, into whatever it is that you're actually making together. For my Patreon followers, if you would like to hold for a moment, I will be with you in a second. For everybody else, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, it'll give you notifications for any future readings I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to symbol number 2. This is your reading and we're looking at what this person is hiding from you today. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on. I'm going to start over here in the past before moving to the present and then into the outcomes. Over here with the Magician and the 10 of Wands. I felt like this was a good place to start with the other person. Looking to the past. I feel like it starts off really well in terms of this person's engagement with you. They're very actively on board and really wanting to be with you in a way that kind of pushes ahead. It's all guns blazing here with these two cards in a way that says this person's been really enthusiastic to get to know who it is that you are and to push this connection forward in a way that is full steam ahead. I don't feel like this person has had any reservation in terms of wanting to just kind of get things up and running in a way that says, I'm on board with this. Outwardly, I feel like this person is doing and saying all of the right things in terms of throwing everything at the relationship in a way that tries to make it work. I think this person has definitely seen there's an amazing opportunity here for the two of you to be together and is very into you. I don't feel like this person has held back in any way, shape or form. They've known what they've wanted and they've gone at it 100% in a way that doesn't hold back. I get a very charming person here. Somebody who is very likable. The energy is very up. It's very positive. It's very full force. I kind of feel in some ways this person is definitely sort of, it's all on the table here with these two cards. You know, the Magician is definitely articulating and communicating in a way that says that it wants to make the most of this opportunity here with the 10 of Wands and to give it all that it can in order to make it a success. So I don't feel on one level that this person is hiding anything. I feel like it's a very outward show of enthusiasm, of wanting to make things work, of clearly articulating their intentions in a way that says, let's go for this. Again, I just feel like this person has been in the spirit of it in a way where in the moment, it feels right for them. There's no second guessing you or what's going on in a way that says that I'm hesitant or that I feel that I can't be honest with you. So at one level, I feel like this person is fully out there. I don't see any signs here that negatively gear the potential direction of the relationship in a way that covers things up or leaves you to feel that this isn't heading in the right direction. If I come down here with the Sun and the Queen of Wands, I feel like you've been really happy with where things have been going with this person. There's a lot of similarities here in terms of your energy. I feel like you're very adventurous people, very outgoing, very positively geared. I mean, all of these cards here with the Sun and the Queen of Wands and the Magician and the Ten of Wands, I just feel that the both of you have been very positively aligned. I think that there's been a lot of inspiration that's connected the both of you here in a way where you haven't really had to sit around thinking about how you feel about each other. It's more in the doing. I just kind of feel like you're in there making it happen. It feels good. It's inspirational. Let's just kind of get on with it. And so I kind of feel like here with the Sun that you've actually been really happy with the direction and with this person. If I come back up here to the Magician and the Ten of Wands, I think the one thing about this person is that they're very task orientated. I feel like this is somebody who is very concentrated on work. They're very much into doing things, making things happen, working really hard to achieve results. This person really likes a challenge, and I feel that their work or their career or some kind of passion that they have at the center of their lives does take an enormous amount of focus. And the one thing that they can be guilty of here is maybe immersing themselves too much in one single thing in terms of a focus. Maybe, for example, their career could get the better of them, that they spend too much time at work, or that they work too hard, or at times they can be a bit of a workaholic. I think that at the same time for you down here that's been okay. I think you're the type of person that doesn't mind adding into the relationship in a way where you work hard at it, but you also don't want a relationship to be full-time in a way where it's all consuming. I don't feel like you're the type of person that necessarily wants to be joined at the hip here with the Queen of Wands. I feel like you like to go out and have your own world, to have your own life, that you don't necessarily need at an emotional level to be joined at the hip with somebody in a way that defines you as a couple. I think that you both seem to have very strong independent identities here in a way where you have your own lives. You're both very capable of just kind of cracking on with it and doing your own thing and achieving other things outside of the relationship. And for me here with the Queen of Wands and the Sun, I just feel that you haven't seen any problems by about this point. I think maybe the one thing that you're seeing is that this person does get very fixed and focused on their work, and that they can give themselves 100% to that, and maybe that they're guilty of being absorbed by other preoccupations. But overall, I kind of feel like this has been a really positive experience. I don't even feel here with Queen of Wands that you've necessarily wanted to give 100% of yourself to this relationship. I do feel that you are somebody who is actually happy to look outside of those parameters and to fulfill a life that actually gives you a sense of engagement, adventure, and happiness that is beyond the idea of somebody else. And that when you do both come back together with each other, it's kind of falls more into this sense of feeling the feeling rather than thinking that it has to be something. I just kind of feel energetically there's a lot of positivity here in a way where you're navigating your day-to-day experiences and what you both have to give to each other in a way that is born more out of kind of reading passion, you know. The ones are fueled by passion and spirituality, and I feel like the energy between the two of you has overall been a really positive experience. I think that you've just trusted this situation in a way also where you've given this person plenty of leeway just to be the person that they need to be, that you haven't wanted to be all over them, tracking their every move and what they're up to. That if they have been overly immersed in other things in their world where they seem to be really preoccupied or maybe a little guarded, you're cool to kind of give them the space that they need to be able to be able to figure that out. I think you're saying here that it's perfectly acceptable for you to have your own life. I don't need to know everything about you. I don't get a clingy person for you, and I certainly don't get a clingy person with this other person in the relationship. I think the two of you are very much live and let live and have your own independent lives and kind of read things much more energetically in terms of coming together in a way where you feel the passion and kind of follow through more inspirationally. So I think that this has been overall a really busy experience for the both of you in terms of having your own lives and doing your own thing. But if I come over here to the Hangman and the Three of Swords more in the present, there's definitely problems that are overshadowing the relationship at this time. I feel like this person is definitely holding back in a way that has become quite detrimental. I feel like they're just not putting anything into the two of you in a way that maintains that momentum that was actually gathering here in the past. I feel like this person here with the Hangman has definitely drawn a line in a way where they're pulled back and absorbed by some very negative ideas about where things are at in their world. I think this person is keeping their cards close to their chest in a way that doesn't let you in, doesn't give you an angle in to be able to communicate what's going on with them in terms of their experience. They're not letting you in, they're not telling you what's going on. I think this person appears to be very unhappy in a way where it's very visible. Maybe they're looking like they're moping or just very gloomy in a way that is clammed up. I get a feeling that this person has pulled back, maybe physically, from some of you. I don't feel this person is engaging or bridging into your world in a way that allows you to get any idea from any single angle as to what it is that's going on. Very closed off and very unwilling to let you in. I feel this person is just not cooperating and articulating what's going on. This feels perpetual too. This feels like a very strong holding pattern that kind of umbrellas the entire situation in a way where it brings in a lot of negativity here with the Three of Swords. This person hasn't been happy for a while. I would say that this has been going on for some time now. I don't feel like this is something that's just kind of recently manifested. This person's sitting on something that just kind of expresses an energy more than anything else that says that I'm not happy. I think their outlook is and their demeanor is very negative, but there's almost a refusal here to let go. The idea of sort of feeling unhappy is very closed within this person in a way that locks it in. It's not. I don't know how articulate they are within themselves about what is it they're really thinking and feeling. And why is it they're feeling that? They're just not happy. And, the Hangman is a card of contemplation, of meditation. I think they're trying to figure it out. I think they're trying to figure out what they need to do to move things forward. Whether they need to make some sort of fundamental change to address this issue. I think the part that I find probably more concerning than anything else about these two cards is the lack of openness and the inability to get close to you to let you know what's going on or what isn't going on. It's not just about knowing what's going on. It's about also not knowing what's going on, if that makes sense. Because not everybody has the answers to these things. And I feel like this person is really sort of trying to understand what the problem is, but doesn't really know how to articulate that, and has kind of seized up, locked up, clammed up in a way where they're just kind of sitting on it. And that kind of is very broody and festering in a way that I feel brings just an enormous amount of negativity into the connection that you have with this person. And if I come down here with the Hermit and the Three of Pentacles, I think for you, I just feel like there's been quite some time that has passed since here in the past. Here with the Hermit and the Three of Pentacles, I feel like maybe it's a number of years into this relationship, or if it's not a sort of solid stretch of time, I feel maybe there's just been sufficient bonding between the two of you in a way that says that, there's a lot to lose here. I feel like you're saying, we need to find the answers here. We need to kind of dig deep into this and understand what's going on, because we have a really strong foundation and it deserves us to honor that in a way that looks at what the problem is by digging deeper. I think you're trying to dig into what's going on with this person by asking certain questions. Here with the Hermit, it's definitely a card about insight and contemplation, a lot of reflection. I think you're trying to sort of maybe track into the history of where things have been kind of going wrong and how things have manifested to this particular point. You're definitely trying to articulate how you're thinking and feeling with this person, trying to get an insight into what the experience is with them. Maybe also here, you know, with the Three of Pentacles, you're looking to talk to other people. Could be friends or family or colleagues in a way that tries to gain more insight into what the problem could be. And maybe even here also, you're saying, you know, we need to talk to somebody about this, you know, include some other unbiased or third-party person into this in a way that gives us some sort of counseling or, yeah, some constructive insight into to sort of how you're thinking and feeling and where it is that I'm at. I feel like you're very invested in this relationship, and you're saying here with these two cards that you're not prepared to give up in any way, shape or form, that you want to dig deep and get to the bottom of what's going on in a way where you're prepared to do a lot of work. And I think also you're quite an experienced person in terms of understanding what people are like. I feel like you have the navigational tools to be able to kind of dig into this experience to sort of figure out where things are going on and maybe to rectify it so that it's smoother sailing. So I don't get somebody who wants to give up. I think that you're really holding on for success and that you're prepared to really build a bridge into this relationship in a way that tries to understand, you know, very wholeheartedly what you can do to be able to kind of build a stronger foundation. I think you're prepared to do the work. I think you're prepared to go deep. I think you're also very patient here with the Hermit. I don't feel like you're looking for quick fixes. I think you're looking at this holistically, trying to understand where this is actually stemming from, looking to address that at a more core level, and to kind of rebuild from the ground up in a way that just makes this more robust, more solid. But what I get here with these two cards, with the Hangman and the Three of Swords, is that this person is giving you the hand. You know, they're not engaging. You know, they're not opening up. They're not articulating what the problem is. I don't even feel like this person's trying. Yeah, I feel like this person is just kind of stuck in unhappiness, and they're not articulate of what that is, but they're not even trying to figure it out either. I think they are contemplative of it, but I don't. When I say that, I mean with you. I just don't feel like this person is making the necessary sacrifices here with the Hangman. You know, like sometimes you actually have to give a little to get a lot. And I just don't feel like this person is giving in to this situation in a way that lets down their guard. So they're definitely hiding their feelings here. You know, they're saying, I'm not happy. They're saying also by not telling you that they can't figure out what that actually means. Where's this actually going to go in terms of an outcome? If I come over here to Death and the Two of Pentacles, I feel like this person is just going to remain on this holding pattern in a way where they do nothing about it. I feel like they are going to ignore connecting with you in a way that kind of opens up the energetic flow and dynamically engages to figure out how to flip all of this around and join up the dots to connect the two of you again. I think that here with Death, it's an ending linked to a new beginning that feels quite brutal. I think that this person will let this get the better of them in a way where they fail to kind of join this up and make the best out of this situation. And I think that they're going to be really unhappy about that. I don't think this person necessarily wants to let you go. Here with the Two of Pentacles, I think this person sees that you have an enormous amount in common and that there's a huge potential here. But at the same time, I just don't feel like this person has the answers to be able to figure it out on their own. I think they're going to be very resistant to look at both sides of the situation here in a way that lets the connection reconnect. You know, I feel like they're going to kind of ignore it and let this wither and die, which sounds really brutal. And I have to say to you, I feel that this person has an incapacity or an ineptitude to be able to connect with you on this. I think avoidance is very strong here in all of these cards. And even if you come back here to the past with the Magician and the Ten of Wands, you know, I think this person is all guns blazing and 100% into it when they're in the spirit of it. I think when it makes sense and it's easy and things just kind of find a natural order and flow and that they just get on with it, it's not so much of a problem. But I don't really know deep down that this person has the emotional capacity to be able to articulate at a deeper level what it means to be intimate with somebody. And I think as things progress and this person realizes they actually have to give more here with the Hangman, that they need to make certain sacrifices to make this a more fulfilling experience, I think this person fails. I think that they just don't know how to articulate at an emotional level what that really means. And to me, this is very physical as well. I feel like this is actually quite a physical reading for a lot of you. I just feel like this person pulls back and begins to withdraw from you physically, emotionally, psychologically, in a way that spiritually things begin to wither, and it really has a detrimental effect over the long term. I feel like this is a very sort of slow moving process where it gets to a point where the avoidance has such a detrimental outcome that everybody suffers as a consequence of that. And I feel solely that this is on this person's shoulder, that the downfall of the relationship is because this person has an absolute fear of getting close and letting you in to the point where it overwhelms them and they don't really know what to do about it. And rather than face that, I feel like this person would rather completely ignore this than be honest with themselves about the fact that they don't actually have the skills to navigate this relationship at a much deeper level. Enthusiasm and kind of throwing everything at it can only get you so far before that momentum starts to die, and you have to be honest with yourself and the other person in a way that keeps the closeness going. I don't feel like this person is growing in this relationship in a way that gives it the longevity that it needs in order to sustain. I feel, and I feel like this person, essentially what they're doing is that they're giving up on themselves, but they're also giving up on you as a consequence without saying it directly. I just kind of feel like this person's avoidance will lead to the detriment of this relationship. If I come down here to the Moon and the Ace of Swords, I feel before that happens here with the Moon, I just feel like your gut instincts will take over in a way where you see this person for who it is that they are and what it is that they're actually doing here with the Ace of Swords, which is an incredibly perceptive card that says, you know, self-preservation kicks in a way where it says, I need to take control and get out of this in one piece. And I feel like what you'll do is that you'll actually give up on this person and that you'll cut them out of your life in a way that is very clinical and very concise. I don't feel like you're gonna give this person a second chance, or that you'll waste any time to try and figure out whether this is going to work or not. I think that you'll see straight to the heart of matters, because you'll very perceptively figure out that this person's just not doing anything to save this. And I think what you're going to want to do is take back control of your situation in a way that says, I need to get rid of you, and I feel like you'll do that in a number of ways. I think firstly, I think you'll want to take back everything that you have with this person. If you shared anything with them in a world that was about material security, investments, you know, animals, or you know, pets and just things, you know, I kind of feel like you're taking everything back. It's like, I'm going to take everything back that's mine. I feel like you want to regain control not only of the situation, but also of your world in terms of your investment to this person. I also felt for many of you here with the Ace of Swords, it's a very sharp card that says, I want to get the last word in as well. And I feel like you want to have the last word and tell this person how it is that you see it. that essentially you're tired of the uncertainty that this person has manifested, and that you refuse to be a victim of what is it they're doing, and that this is about a new beginning that cuts away from the past very concisely. I think what's difficult about this reading, I think the two of you are very like-minded, very like-spirited people that are in the moment and having a great time here in the past, and you're not really necessarily having to think about what the next steps are. I think things are shaping and forming and going along according to their own natural course. But as things evolve here with the Hermit and the Three of Pentacles, I feel like you are beginning to track over time that this requires deeper investment and navigation in a way that tries to understand how this can structurally survive for longevity. And I think your preparedness and your skill set are setting you up in a way that gives you the ability to succeed in doing that. But this person's not playing ball, right? Here with the Hangman and the Three of Swords, this person does not reflect that same level of insight and knowledge and self-awareness. I think it's all good when it's point and go with this person, but I think when it comes to going into the depths and creating a more expanded experience that grows in this relationship, I think this person fails miserably. And I think that the outcome here with Death and the Two of Pentacles is one where this person essentially just ignores it and pulls back and lets it go on its own particular journey. So for me, I feel like you're doing the right thing here in terms of an outcome. I think that you're best to cut the dead weight here in a way that moves forward and takes back control of your situation. For my Patreon followers, if you'd like just to hold for a moment, I'll be with you in a second. For everybody else, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe and tap on the bell icon, it'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.